Hello, and welcome to coverage of custom standard casual matches. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching a match between Coreman and Agentbla. Both these players, as far as I know, are fairly new to the format. I know Agentbla has been, as they just showed by playing Mana Confluence turn 1 into Boon Artisan, playing, I think it's a Bant Enchantress deck, which it's basically Boggles adjacent. We have a Boggles deck in the format, but I believe this deck uses Boon Artisan and Moonweaver to get big value out of auras. Has a bunch of like removal auras in the form of Cryocell, which is one blue for a tap down enchantment, which has but your opponent can pay 4 to destroy it, and pacifism stuff like that, and then finishes off by the top end of Guinevere, which is a 2/6 lifelink for 5 or 3 green white, and when she enters the battlefield, you basically make a copy of every aura you control. Um, so there are some games where it plays more control-y or tempo-y, and other games it can just like, if your opponent doesn't have good interaction, you can just like sweep their feet out from under them by just like Voltroning up a single creature and then hitting them for a bunch out of nowhere with the aura doubling ability of Guinevere. And this isn't Guinevere, but it is her benediction, and this is one of the key Boggles cards out there. Essentially, it gives +1/+1 for each permanent attached to the creature, and it gives it lifelink. Lifelink is super important in this deck because it allows it to outrace other linear decks like mono red. Some of the combo decks also can't get, like, if you gain like a sufficiently large number of life, like you get to like 40, 50 life. Some of the combo decks can't like kill you before they deck themselves, stuff like that. On Coreman's side of the table, looks like Coreman is maybe, I don't know if like the blue black fetches are only because like to play a fetch, but playing some sort of like blue red artifacts. The currency isn't giving me many hints. Not quite sure what this is yet. Hopefully, though, he does have an answer for this Boon Artisan, because otherwise it's going to get out of hand really quick. Paying 4 mana, banish? No, Seal of Judgment. Okay, so it's just going to Seal of Judgment the Boon Artisan. Good call. And then go back up to 19 life, so recoup some of that life lost. Oh, and I missed last turn Agentbla playing a Cradle of Civilization. Um, it's essentially it's a mana fixer that also searches your library for a basic land. So it's card neutral, and it's a cheap way to trigger lots of your enchantment synergies, like Moonweaver, which whenever you cast an aura spell, you draw a card. So a cheap, powerful enchantress, and it having evasion on its own makes it a good thing to Voltron up. Of course, it doesn't have protection, which if Coreman is playing a control deck, um, might have trouble keeping these Moonweavers on the board. So far, this seems like I'm not sure what deck both Currency and Seal of Judgment go in, but I'm interested to see where this goes. And a Mana Confluence is further making it difficult for me to judge Coreman's deck because there's no more like color hints. But maybe Jeskai? So tapping to Wander the Unknown for the Moonweaver? No, another Currency. Okay. What could Coreman be ramping up into? But yeah, I think leaving this Moonweaver alive, maybe Coreman didn't have a choice, but if Coreman had a removal spell there, definitely should have killed the Moonweaver, because, yeah, now it just starts getting into crazy card advantage. Moonweaver now goes up into a 2/3 Vigilance. Moonweaver is now at 3/2 flying and can immediately swing. Yikes. And this is where, like, I think this deck is, like, a little bit more resilient than it might seem at first, because even though the deck doesn't have like hexproof to be able to blank targeted removal, it can just swarm the board so quickly. Um, so it can do like a Boggles impression, quote unquote, by requiring you to have a wipe. But yeah, I think this is a bad position for Coreman, because next turn he's going to be eating at least 6 damage, if not more, because Agentbla has 4 cards in hand and can probably Voltron up the Moonweaver for more damage. Meanwhile, on end, Coreman is going to crack the fetch for a Blessed Mausoleum. Is this a 4-color or a 5-color control deck? We do have one of those in this format, but it looks very different than this one, I must say. Maybe currency is just in here for the fixing, honestly. So has access to 5 mana. So if Coreman has Final Verdict here, which tapping 5 mana, um, but has Vibrant Raptor instead, that also works. Vibrant Raptor X equals 3, and Coreman gets 2 Petal tokens, which the Petal tokens are surprisingly relevant because Coreman can start, like, if Coreman doesn't have a need to like use them for mana, uh, Coreman can like trade them for cards with the currency. So Agentbla did just get 2 for 1 there, or even more if you count the petals, but can recover here quite easily because Ancestral Marking is just can recur itself from the grave whenever you cast an aura, like this Cradle of Civilization. So is Agentbla going to choose to recur the Ancestral Marking now? And is getting an island to fix for that blue. I guess it's not choosing to recur the Ancestral Marking at this time. And the way that Agentbla was able to get that Cradle of Cities is because of Ruler of Cities, which basically uh, gains you life whenever a land you control becomes enchanted and allows you to tutor for a land aura. So Cradle of Civilization is 1 hit. If you have a bunch of mana, Gila Emergence is a good finisher spell to grab with Ruler of Cities. Um, so it's just really strong and can take over the game by itself. It used to gain you life each turn, but now it just gains life whenever you enchant a land. So both players stuck on 3 lands here. Coreman going to play Seal of Judgment, grab the Ruler of Cities. Coreman is like at almost half Agentbla's life total. This will put him back to 16, but this mana confluence is taking a toll on his life. And so far, even though he's been like reliably answering a lot of what Agentbla is doing, Agentbla is like very up on cards just because of like the card advantage / card quality that Agentbla's deck provides. And woof, resolves Atalia Cyber Wayfarer. So basically, a 3 loyalty starting planeswalker for 3, and can flicker a permanent when it comes into play. Or sorry, not when it comes into play. Can flicker a permanent as its plus, which is really good for grindy control decks. Instead, it looks like Agentbla -2'd Talia to put Cradle of Civilization back into their hand, and then played a Boon Artisan using the mana confluence. So yeah, just this constant card flow is kind of hard for Coreman to deal with, because getting a Planeswalker plus drawing 2 cards plus bouncing your enchantment, which gives you the ability to tutor for a land to thin your deck even more, kind of hard to deal with. So Coreman's going to play an Imperial Prosperity. It's a cantrip which gets you a treasure token, which it's an okay card, but it's really, I guess Coreman must have some like real hard color requirements. We've seen every color except green so far in his deck, but I don't know if all of those colors are worth it. And then just passes. I wonder what Coreman's game plan is here to win, because we already know that they're like a controlling deck. Only a controlling deck would play like Seal of Judgment plus Vibrant Raptor, no creatures or other like proactive plays so far, only reactive. But so plays a Cradle of Civilization from their hand, recurs the Ancestral Marking. Boon Artisan is now a 4 god. Is now what? Sorry, it's a 3/4. And Talia can like flicker Cradle to get even more basic lands from their deck, and then just thin it like crazy. Though Agentbla didn't search for anything with the first Cradle, so maybe either they forgot or they're running a remarkably low number of basics in their deck. Like, I guess 1 basic of each color seems a little bit sus, but I guess it is a 3-color deck, so they might want like something more. Okay, is gonna flicker the Cradle, and this time we'll find a forest with it, and then attacks for 3, or attacks Coreman for 4, I guess, at this time. Oh wait, 5? I am confusion. Oh, or it's not just Ancestral Marking, it's each aura you control, not just each aura attached to Boon Artisan. So it counts the Cradle of Civilizations as well. So Coreman really needs to find a removal spell for the Boon Artisan, and also find a way to deal with Talia and needs to win the game while getting constantly out card advantaged by Agentbla. Oh my god, and Coreman just draw goes? Um, that's really worrisome. Coreman has 5 cards in hand. What's going on here? I mean, I guess Agentbla also has 5 cards in hand, but I assume they weren't playing them because they're like removal spells. Okay, so Agentbla casts another Boon Artisan and then Guinevere. Jeez. So copies 2 Cradle of Civilizations, another Ancestral Marking. So that'll be a total of 6 um, auras. So an Ancestral Marking will give +6/+6 for each, like, will give +6/+6 on each copy of itself. No, why are you attaching the Ancestral Marking? Okay, I guess it's safer to attach it here, but um, actually, yeah, no, it makes sense to do that. But the actually, if Agent Blood attached both ancestral markings onto this Bone Artisan, that would have been like a little bit of an aggressive play, but um, it would have meant that this Boon Artisan, if unanswered, would immediately kill Coreman here. Or swing for 22. Am I missing something? Because ancestral marking. Oh, oh no, because Agent Bluff flickered um, Guinevere with Talia, so that's why Agent Blah has. So this is 2 ancestral markings, and then this is a bunch more cradles. Yeah, Coreman tried to crack a pedal for something with the currency, but wasn't able to find an answer. And yeah, just Agent Blah just explosively closing out that first game. It looks like Coreman had some good answers early in the game, but didn't have any source of card advantage, and eventually just kind of got swamped out by Agent Blah's constant flow of cards and explosive potential. I wonder what Coreman's like win condition is here, because we didn't see any of that, and I think that's like super important, like what his plan is to like actually win the game. Because I think this is a format where control decks can't afford to durdle or play hard control. You have to have like a proactive, quick win con, because lots of decks can either like recover very well in the late game, or are just super explosive if you give them time to recover from like your initial answers. Okay, so getting into game 2, Coreman starting off with uh, another fetch land. Um, Agent Blah on their side of the table with a Mushroom Lagoon. I guess like one of their pieces of like fixing lands to get that blue mana. We didn't see them play anything with blue other than Talia last turn, but I know that they have like Cryocell and other cards like that. Not sure how needed the tap lands are in this deck, especially given like how much it wants to like curve out. Um, and especially given that like it has Cradle of Civilization and other good ways of finding fixing. But I'll defer to Agent Blah's like uh, decision making there on the land split. Meanwhile, Coreman fetches the Blessed Mausoleum with the Ascending Spires and plays a Lakeside Park. I guess like having like a 4-color mana base makes this deck really slow. Agent Blah tapping for a Boon Artisan, but doesn't have anything to play with the island. Ooh, so Coreman tapping 3 for writing. So this is a really good card, which basically acts as a delayed divination that eventually. Anyways, wow. So pays green, plays Cradle of Civilization, um, then plays Guinevere's Benediction. Yeah, Boon Artisan is up to a 4/5. Ugh. And Coreman just has to hold that because Coreman's tapped out. Meanwhile, I think Agent Blah once again forgot to search with the Cradle of Civilization. Um, yeah, I didn't search for a land with the Cradle of Civilization, which might seem like a small thing, but I think over time, like any deck and keeping up that like keeping quote unquote card advantage, or in this case card neutrality, is super important when you're playing versus control. Wow, and Corman just plays a Lakeside Park and passes. Maybe trying to bait Agent Blonde to buffing the Boon Artisan more and then killing it. If so, that seems like kind of a bad plan because I think this Boon Artisan is now up to a 10/10. It gets oh wait, sorry, it gets +3/+3 from the Ancestral Marking, +2/+2 from Guinevere's Benediction, and then has 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, okay, so it's a 9/10. Fortunately, Coreman does have the Wander the Unknown. Ooh, but Agentbla has the Make Way to give it hexproof. So Coreman just gets domed for 9. Um, and if Coreman doesn't have a removal spell on his turn, um, then he kind of just loses the game at that point. Okay, so tapping 3, maybe a Seal of Judgment. Yeah, it has a Seal of Judgment. And Coreman doesn't have another blue mana. Um, so won't be able to. So yeah, maybe should have tapped the Vibrant Locale just to like force Coreman to think about that. But I guess Coreman has literally no other outs. So gains 3 life, manages to take the Boon Artisan. Agentbla is down to 2 cards in hand, and Coreman does have 6. So, and tapping 1 for the Lazaire's Altar. So this is a really polarizing card. Basically, it lets you draw 1 card or 1 extra card at the beginning of each turn by paying 1 life, but your opponent gets to create a petal, so they get to ramp. But it's like a really controversial card because sometimes letting your opponent ramp and fix that much can be a detriment. I personally think it's very good in answer-heavy decks when you're just drawing like 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s. You don't care what they're spending their mana on as long as you're trading up on cards. And in this position particularly, where Agentbla is on 2 cards in hand, just played a forest. Oh, but I thought Coreman was going to make Agentbla draw a card. That would be a bad move here. You can't drain out Agentbla when Agentbla is on 33. Why? Wait, Coreman is making Agentbla draw. That seems like a really bad move. Because Agentbla is on 2 cards. I know Coreman's at 10 life, but Agentbla doesn't have anything with haste. And yeah, this just seems like a really bad move by Coreman, unless he's like trying to fix for something to immediately play this turn, but you also have Royal Domain for fixing. So, I don't know, this feels like a big blunder on Coreman's part. And if the only win con is... he was ramping for Clean Slate. Oh, wow. So Clean Slate is definitely one of the fast control win cons in this format. So you just destroy all lands. You get to take an extra turn, but the important part is the Armageddon. And now, I guess the plan is just to drain out Agentbla with the altar. But Agentbla is a little bit like too high on life for that to happen. And I think Coreman I guess like the problem is like Agentbla. If you like keep giving Agentbla cards here, Agentbla will probably just like draw into lands and the ability to like play creatures faster than you can actually kill Agentbla. But we'll see. Just because Agentbla isn't like so much life right at this point. Oh god, and uses the petal to play another altar. Agentbla does have a land, but I think Coreman can just match the land situation by the petals from the altars and just like drain Agentbla out here. So Coreman plays Imperial Prosperity. So draw a card, create a treasure. It doesn't really matter that much because Coreman spent a treasure to play Imperial Prosperity. The main part is it just basically cycled. And wow, okay. So pays 3 mana for Vain Will of the Law. It's a Planeswalker, but the most important ability is the 0, which just constantly pumps out soldier tokens. So that's another angle of a win condition. Oh, but Agentbla has Zulav rights for Cradle of Civilization and can search. Cradle of Civilization lets Agentbla search for another land. So Zulav rights is basically an enchantment tutor. You can search your library for an enchantment and then cast it that turn. So Agentbla is slowly but surely building up like lands again, and is getting 2 cards per turn because of the altar. I guess the question is, will Coreman be able to like out damage Agentbla or like draw enough answers for what Agentbla is going to be doing before Agentbla can like recover from being clean slated? So there's a threat. Agentbla has Ruler of Cities and can search for another Cradle, play the Cradle, get another land. This is just insane card advantage at this point. And yeah, gains 2 life, so that just negates 2 altar triggers because of Ruler of Cities. Um, and I guess Agentbla has no more basics in their deck, so fail to find with the Cradle. Um, yeah, so I think Coreman is probably just going to untap removal spell the Ruler because there's really no reason not to. And then that allows Coreman to keep like chipping in with the soldiers, etc. So swings in for 2 with the soldiers, but then yeah, the ruler of cities can just block one of the soldiers. Um, I feel like at least Corman should have like used, or I guess now is going to use Veins. Okay, that was going to use Veins +1 because with Veins +1 it can untap the soldier, make it a 2/2 first striker, so it can profitably block the ruler. And wow, pinging himself for 1 with the mana confluence, bold, but paying 3 for 4 cost spell? Oh, Vibrant Rapture X equals 2. Um, basically, Corman will get 3 petals, and Agentbla loses their ruler of cities. Of course, Corman loses 2 soldiers, but then has a constant output of more and more soldiers because of Vayne. The problem is Agentbla has already like recovered on cards because of the altars, and on lands because of the cradles and just how many cards. Ooh, but L3T, that's another planeswalker. This is board presence on Coreman's side. But the +2 is awful here. The -2 is good for killing a creature next turn if need be. But yeah, L3T I don't think is a good planeswalker in like uh, in a clean slate deck. Okay, it's gonna +2 L3T, but then L3T is only really good when you're like up on life, or like you have life gain synergy. This is not one of those situations. Okay, and it's gonna pay the last 2 petals for a currency. So Coreman is down to 2 cards in hand. Agentbla has 9. Oh, and has a Gila Emergence. Can immediately play it and swing and kill the L3T. And now Coreman needs an instant speed removal spell to kill the Gila. Yeah, despite clean slating, I think Coreman just I think the altars were a little bit too like gutsy, and now they're coming. Yeah, I guess you're like I think the drain plan is just too slow, and the whole point of clean slate is that you want to have like that build advantage, so that you have like answers for everything they're doing until you can like eventually like attrition them to death. The problem with that, and like altar is sometimes good for that, but only if they have like Agent Blood isn't even to like their starting life total yet because of the amount of life that they gained. Okay, so Corman does have the Seal of Judgment for the Gila Emergence. So is going to go up to, or did Corman? Yeah, Corman already gained 3 life. Or no, didn't. So is going to go up to 15. Um, so that's 1 Gila Emergence out of the way, but like there's no, like, there, like, Agent Blood could have more, is the thing. Like, Agent Blood has 10 cards in hand. Agent Blood, I don't think has, Agent Blood been discarding at end of turn. That is an important consideration. Agent Blood does need to be discarding at end of turn. Oh, but Agent Blood with a Seal of Judgment of their own, grabbing Coreman's Seal of Judgment, so to get back their Gila Emergence. And yeah, ouch. Gila's just gonna hit the face for 6. That puts a 2-turn clock on Coreman. And Coreman is just gonna try and drain Agent Blood more, but this could easily draw Agent Blood into another Gila Emergence. If it draws Agent Blood into another Gila Emergence, this game is over. Like, this game is pretty over already, and I think if Coreman doesn't have an answer to Gila Emergence in hand immediately, they should have just uh, at least like pointed one Lazer's altar at themselves and one at Agentbla, just so that they don't put themselves in like immediately dead to Gila range, but then like can dig deeper for an answer to it. So he's gonna pay 2, crack a petal to try and dig for something. He's gonna crack another petal to try and dig for something. Oh my god. And so Corman's just forced to create a token with Vayne and then pass. I guess the Gila doesn't have trample, so it can't get over the soldier. So Corman does have a way to try and win that way, but then now Guinevere allows Agentbla to get another Gila emergence and a bunch of cradles. So the second Gila means that Coreman is taking like at least 6 this turn. Unless Agentbla is pointing both phase. Could point one at Vayne, but and it's gonna it has double make way. That's why you shouldn't give them cards. They're both unblockable. Yeah, this is game, and Coreman is basically tapped out. Has three mana sources and 3 cards in hand, but I don't think they have any like counter spells in the deck. They've been playing a very tap out game. And yeah, that's it. So good games to both players, but Agentbla on Bant Auras takes a 2-0 over Coreman on Greenless Slate.